पहले करो.
Yeah, stainless steel has been a material of choice for us for multiple reasons. It's a very versatile material. It's a durable material. It's recyclable. We love to use the material, but we use it only in the high-end projects, primarily because of the cost factor. So the penetration of material, despite its multiple advantages, remains limited. So we have been using it in a lot of finishing materials and a lot of back of the house areas. Surprisingly, most architects use them a lot. So if the material can be made, its awareness can be created, or its wider acceptance and usability, I want it to become more front of the house material than back of the house material.
Yes, absolutely agree. I think in journalism, when I started reporting and when I did a story on stainless steel, we spoke more about sinks and it was more about the kitchen area. And I think in today's panel, we're going to explore not only the interiors but also on the exteriors how stainless steel can come in. A point I note from what you said is also the cost factor, which I will come on to later. Moving to my next question with Dr. God. The per capita consumption of stainless steel in India is expected to more than double by 2030. What are the implications for the built environment segment and how is the industry preparing for it?
So thank you for inviting me in this panel discussion and good evening to all the listeners. So far as this stainless steel is concerned, so last few years we are growing at the rate of 6 to 7% CAGR. But we are very optimistic that by 2020 the stainless steel industry will be doing great. But that is wish, but to make it happen, so we have to increase the usage of stainless steel in two particular segments. One is this ABC, architecture, building and construction, and second is this automotive, railway and transport. Because India is now going through this rapid urbanization expansion. So a lot of things are moving in this construction and everything. So the stainless steel usage, the 4 factors are there. We are expecting that why this will increase. One is the long lifespan. Second is the recyclability. Third is the durability. And fourth one is it is green because it can be 100% recycled. So we are expecting to grow. Now the present in India this per capita consumption is around 3 kg. Now we are but whereas the world average is around 6. So being a developing country, this is very less. So we are expecting that what we have targeted is achievable, but it needs support, it needs awareness, but definitely it will double or more than double. But support from construction side, support from government policy, that is required. So, because initial thing is when we see the direct cost, it seems to be costly. But when we see the long span and when we see the maintenance cost, it is very cheap. It is cheaper than the normal what we are doing. It will be much cheaper. So that's all what I can say.
Yes, thank you so much. I think you did mention support from the government. Again, a point that we would come to when we talk about the regulatory and the code side. I would next go to the procurement expert with me on the stage, Mr. Pramar. Since the years I have known him, he has also closely been a part in the Builders Association of India, and I'm sure he's had sufficient interactions to tell us much more that as the real estate procurement model evolves, what factors are encouraging or limiting the shift towards stainless steel in residential or commercial buildings?
Good evening, everybody. I think we are at the fag end of the day, so it is as good as post-lunch session. This is a session where people are ready to wind up and go back. Well, the session what you're talking about is shift to this. See, shift is one part. The thing is awareness. Yes. We heard the earlier panel also. The limiting factor where it comes is the cost. So we need to weigh the outcome, whether the cost, initial cost is more, but with respect to the longevity, with respect to the life cycle span, it should be easy. So that one thing is has to be driven, and then the more making it is awareness created by the manufacturers. They need to educate, they need to bring it to the table, they have to be the movers and shakers. Right? We have eminent designers with us, they are ready to design and it is their passion to design and use steel. But unless the price factor and the manufacturers come up with more aspects, I am not at all talking about lowering the price as it was discussed in the previous session. It is cost benefit analysis with respect to that. How do we move towards it? That is more important. If that awareness is there, sustainability is definitely, wastage is one, but how to utilize it? Today you invest more, the capex is more. Going forward, how it will be more beneficial. That needs to be done. Again, there are two components. One is the government. The government, everything has to be strategy. So here again, the manufacturers have to push the product there. Because it's all goes with the policies and the NITI Aayog strategies, what they do. As far as the developers is concerned, for the construction part, yes, it's again the cost, but if the architects pitch in with the passion and with the design, and the developer is made to understand that benefit is good, the longevity. I think that will run the show. Thank you.
Yes, I will definitely in my next round of questions come to the architects about that, because I think whenever we've spoken about sustainability, ROI is always followed. So I think that is an aspect I would like to discuss. But before that, Mr. Bose, coming to you. We had interesting conversations in the last 2 days, and I would really like to know from you that can stainless steel be used for structural applications, and what specific advantages do they offer against carbon steel?
Yeah, hi, this is such a beautiful question, especially me actually, because me being a civil engineer and a structural engineer, my earlier know-how used to be अरे stainless steel is वो तो बर्तन में यूज वो तो हैंड
तो एलईडी से शिफ्ट हो रहा बार-बार
architectural applications कहीं पर light post देखा you use it for that, but slowly when you enter into the world of stainless steel you understand that stainless steel offers on par or better strength. Also it offers better elongation. Also, it offers more impact toughness values. All these parameters are important for making your structure more resilient to the nature, resilient to time, resilient to sudden earthquakes. The structure is more lightweight. It can, as in earthquake engineering, I understand the mass into acceleration. More the mass, you attract more forces to the structure. So you definitely make the structure lighter, and with time what happens, there is no friction loss also. So that is the structural applications, stainless steel, you might look at. So it's no longer about aesthetics, it's also aesthetics with function, with performance.
Thank you. With that, I will more towards the design innovation, interiors and aesthetic value now, which takes me straight to architect Milify. Where do you find stainless steel indispensable in residential or commercial interiors? From the detailing the surfaces to the utility areas, if you could tell us. And I know you do a lot of luxury projects, so I would like to know more on that front.
वो सर दिख रहा है उसको.
So essentially, when it comes to interior, stainless steel is always associated with something premium or a luxury, or as you said. But we do use stainless steel by default on very basic projects also, where
just like you mentioned in kitchen, stainless steel sink is something which is indispensable. So if you are asking me for indispensable, that is one area. We just can't think about so many materials. Then something like hardware. Okay, hardware by default, I think lot of designs that we see in handles or lock working mechanisms. Besides brass, stainless steel is the second best used material. And then as we graduate to the higher premium segments, again coming back to kitchen, you see people who want to have stainless steel tops. There was a total stainless steel looking kitchen which ability to stainless steel and can be as complete as the entire wall and backsplash also can be a part of the steel. So these kind of kitchen companies who make fully stainless steel looking furniture, they charge a premium to 5 times the normal kitchen would cost. So graduating from there as a designer, I mean I was learning a lot of technical stuff and what the government should do, and it's not my part of the journey, but as a designer I can see stainless steel as a material which has got many qualities for a designer to appreciate. It is a very you can say consistent material. It doesn't change from one piece to another. Starting from there, it's got a good reflectivity. It's a very bright material. It's a very versatile material when you want to combine with other materials. Could be something like glassy, like mirrors or plain glass. It could be stone. It could be wood. So steel is a material which you can combine with any of. It's a very neutral medium basically. So we have so many options available. It's not just about having a plain brush finish stainless steel. We have beaten material, we have glossy material, we have satin finish. Nowadays we have got other 3D coated materials. So for imagination, there is it's a limitless kind of possibilities. So, but on practical terms, we observe we have a lot of affinity to use furniture in stainless steel because it is stainless steel as a material has got a good what you can say a strength to weight ratio. So you can design anything on a very slim scale and still have a very strong piece of furniture. So you see they have been used in the legs of the furniture, using tables, chairs. You would see them as a basic material for railings, or with the most premium material, the lift interior would be a stainless steel. So the options are mindless, like something that are just by default you can accept them as indispensable. Somewhere you can become a creative designer and you can build on the qualities of the material and create your designs.
I would like Arctic Anita to extend from here. Interestingly, when I read more about you, I see you've worked a lot on stainless steel frame structures. So, how have you blended the structural and aesthetic functions in one design collective? Thank you for expressing our thoughts as designers for a material on this forum where it will be heard and maybe put into practice. So, when we began, I began my career as an architect. It was like an era where we had more of load bearing and RCC structure and that MS steel structure. But slowly we learned more about this material and we thought that exploring this material at a structural level and that naked without much of cladding is so much of fun and it adds to the beauty as well as it helps you to reduce the footprint of the building and the utility that have for the building is much more than what it would be otherwise when you have cladded materials or composite materials like RCC is used. So we have decided to use this material in varied kinds like skyscrapers or even for that matter, so where sometimes we need buildings which are for religious purpose and those people really value that the structures should last for years together. So the material can be used and it could be used in competition in stone and various other materials which are used for the religious structure especially. And also it can be an iconic structure and it has a lot of sculptural value because you can actually sculpt the material and make it very elegant and you can have elegant forms. We really appreciate that the industry is there now and we are getting the help from the industry for take up such.
Yes, yes. I think the industry has arrived and we are only going to see more and more usage of stainless steel.
And of course, if we talk about mixed-use developments as well, how is stainless steel being used for facade skins, canopies, or entrance sculptures? And what are the design maintenance benefits? If you can just touch upon that.
So stainless steel, as I mentioned earlier, has been not a new material for the building industry. I believe earlier in the discussion I was hearing somebody in the morning mention about Chrysler building. So that building, if you are familiar with, was done in 1930. So stainless steel was used first time in that extensive example in the 1930s, but it was purely a decorative material. The crown which you see in the building on the top was of stainless steel, the material on top. After that, in 1958, 1960s, the another monumental structure, iconic structure in Brussels, the atomium, which has got 9 spheres all around stainless steel. But again, we decorated material to give it that shape and that longevity. Going forward, as material acceptance started becoming more and more, right? We are familiar with the structure for Symphony Opera House. Those sail-like structures, they are made out of concrete. So where is the stainless steel? The beams inside which are being used to support those domes are made in stainless steel. So here is the structural use of stainless steel. Fast forward the current era. Today, if you have been to Haneda International Airport in Tokyo, the entire runway is resting on water. It is supported on steel pillars and beams. The structural use of stainless steel is that extensive structure. More recently, the Freedom Tower in New York City, the one World Trade Center, the entire skin on the outside is made with stainless steel. So this material has been used for the last 100 years. And more recently, it has become such an accepted material that iconic structures, the landmarks, the most recently being the Cloud Gate, which has been done in Chicago, is all made out of stainless steel. So here in India, I'm thankful to note that in Telangana, we have a Telangana Martyrs Monument in Hyderabad, which is again done of stainless steel. It's a shrine which has been done of stainless steel, very similar to Cloud Gate. And I'm proud to say India is, going in the big league and doing such iconic structures that has become the material which is associated with us.
Mr. Bose, I'll come to you here because I remember when we were speaking this time, you had touched upon high rises. And of course, from the examples that Mr. Pran has given, even if it is global, what are the specific applications of stainless steel in buildings and high rises? If you would also want to touch upon that.
There are many applications. For example, the beam columns, the piers, the foundations, the reinforcements used within your diaphragm walls. When there is a huge polluting water body or something, the water tables go in your high rises. They tend to percolate through your concrete. Concrete is porous. It will attract water. It is hydrophilic. It will, and the material inside should be capable of taking care of itself. We have self-healing concrete. We have auto-healing concrete. But what about steel? A steel which can fundamentally take care of itself is its fundamental weakness of steel is corrosion. And stainless steel solves that problem. And other than this, when you go for high-rise structures, the biggest problem that we face here is in concrete. These concrete structures have enormous amount of dead loads. And with 40 stories or 50 stories, what happens? These structures have to have their foundations strengthened. And when you go for the structural forms like steel concrete composite structures or diagram structures, you see United India Assurance cyber trucks and you probably your SpaceX. Yeah. So that's where I would like to say it brings value.
Right. Thank you so much. I would now go to the aspect of that I think almost everyone has touched upon up till now in a way, which is sustainability. And of course, when we talk about the cement to steel transition, which also we touched upon, coming to Dr. Gaurya, so from a materials perspective, what makes stainless steel for you? Of course, I've heard a lot from the rest of the panel, but what makes it a front runner for you? For sustainable and circular construction, particularly if we compare it to RCC or coated mild steel.
First of all, basic reason for front-runner stainless steel is in previous, I also said, the four reasons: sustainability, green steel, long lifespan, durability. So these are the things which makes it front runner. And second is it is 100% recyclable. So it is for circular. It contributes to circular economy. Second, when we talk about this RCC and this coated bars, so definitely we are improving, but we are not doing the inner strength of the material because we cannot change the basic quality of the material. So stainless steel is the inherent quality, inherent strength that makes it special. So by coating it, we cannot substitute the stainless steel. So when we talk about RCC, one thing is RCC too, we are using normal rebars in RCC. But when we use this stainless steel rebar, then life of the structure, life of the building, that becomes exponential. So there are various advantages of stainless steel, which makes it front runner. Because there is, see, when you are using this steel in the building, so cost is not going so much, the overall cost. But when you can get premium on that, and there are areas where stainless steel is must, because for compromising on the safety, some of the builders they to cut down the cost, they use this mild steel bar or this type of structure because ultimately they want to make money. But if to be frank, we are compromising on safety. There is a place on this Pune road when we go to from Mumbai to Ahmedabad. What happened to that? That now we are repairing it. So the cost of repairing inconvenience, because when we are making something, we are thinking of 100 years, more than 100 years. That at that time the replacement cost would be much higher. So that's why this stainless steel in whatever form, in whatever area where this coastal area is there, government has mandated that up to 13 kilometers of barricade only stainless steel is used. Because they are concerned with the quality of the construction. And so now they are mandating it they can increase the barricade, like this Shivaji statue, that was the incident wherever Honorable Union Minister, even he himself emphasized that we cut down the cost and the result is before us. So that is why the stainless steel is emphasized to be used, and we will be awareing the people, we will be asking the help of the cabinet architects and structural designers to push for the steel because it's for the safety and it's for the long term. That's why it is fun.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Parman, coming to you, and since we are talking of sustainability, are procurement and tendering frameworks mature enough to reflect the life cycle cost and recyclability feature or benefits of stainless steel in private real estate projects?
As I said earlier also, the cost is, we have to define the cost with respect to the life cycle. Today, if we are talking only about the capex, the cost is going to be very high. So that is one part. And when you are going to use it, there has to be an optimal utilization of during the life cycle. And once it is recycled, because of the sustainability and all, it's going to be 100%. But let us say, even if you are pessimistic, it is 95% you have achieved. So that factor is there. So once we take the cost analysis, it will definitely. But the developer part is there, they will definitely get into it. How it is being pitched, that is important. And more important, things have improved because the manufacturers have increased their processes. They have brought in more, they are using more renewable energy. So that cost is also coming down. And factors which are affecting it is not going to make a huge difference. And as Mr. Chetan Riker mentioned in the thing, if he is taking about say 4 kg per square feet, I would say let us take 5 kg per square feet. And instead of 100 rupees, if you add say 150 rupees per kg, I mean per square feet, because difference is only 500 rupees. And when you are weighing it with respect to the lifespan of the project, I don't think there is going to be anything. We have all the codes in place. IS 800 defines about the design steel structures. And we have 8133 which defines about how the structure is going to be constructed. So technical know-how is there. It's only the mindset, how we want to go about. That will define how the use is going to be.
Yeah, but I would like to ask Anita and Lalit, you all could choose who wants to answer this first. But how do you justify the upfront cost of stainless steel to clients who may not fully value its long-term sustainability and zero maintenance strength?
So, I would say the clients now are very much aware and wise to choose the materials, and in fact, they come up with their own alternatives, or sometimes they also suggest that yes, we want this to be something like this. They also, as an expert or person who knows about material, we suggest that the right kind of material rather than just going for it because it is expensive and then it will add on to my fees more. So the client also believes in you, and obviously over the period of time when the client experiences that okay, because I use this material, my structure is better. So obviously they recommend to some other people, and the chain goes on. And I would like to mention a project wherein we built a religious structure. So they had to cover 2 statues of their saints, and the statue had to be covered in one large stone. And initially they were planning to make it out of RCC and then clad it with marble pieces. So we suggested that they should go for stainless steel framing and then clad it with marble. So it gives that traditional look, but it will last long. And finally the client also, they also investigated many people, and now the structure is up. It is under construction. Maybe if we get a chance at the end of the panel discussion, I will show you some slides of that.
Sure. Mr. Pai, anything you would want to add to this?
So, design trends are also now getting more towards contemporary, modern and minimal. And stainless steel is a perfect material to carry that out actually. So, when your design team requires that kind of material, there is not much effort required to convince them. Yes, of course, budget is a factor, but what we also need to understand is it's not that we always use a classical steel looking stainless steel. Stainless steel as a designer can be used in various forms, and they actually can be used like a background material, can be used like a framing material, need not be like to imagine everything is steel. Like when you look at Chrysler example what he gave, it's all about the architecture being very steely. But it's no longer the case now. You don't have to really imagine steel material as like that. Steel can come in various finishes, and especially the PVD formats what we use nowadays. Clients are always asking us if will this material get corroded or the color will go off or those kind of things. So these new finishes that are now associated with steel are very sturdy, and they are also having a very good long life. So when you start creating ideas, you would really need to sell it just as a steel package. It can be a very creatively done, but steel can be inherent part of that design. So that's a different way of looking at steel.
Right, right. Mr. Khurana, what role can real estate developers play in, advocating for more inclusive building codes that recognize the long-term ROI of stainless steel?
You say agree there. There's a lot of awareness which is required at that level also in terms of codes, and our consultants to be able to recommend investment as a material of choice. When we talk of return on investment logic, let me just give that by an example on how at the initial stage of a project the maintenance cost is the most neglected aspect of a project. So the example is, we are all familiar with Eiffel Tower Palace. It's a national monument. When it was conceived in 1889, it was supposed to be done for the next 20 years. And the material which was being used was wrought iron. They used iron to build it. There are, if I'm not mistaken, I think 6 lakh rivets which have been used in that project to assemble it together, and 7,300 tons of iron which have been used in that fashion. But so be it. But over a period of time, today, in its 130 years of existence, it has been painted 19 times. And one painting cycle takes 18 months to paint it. And during that 18 months of paint cycle, it requires 60 tons of paint. And the 60 tons of paint, the 50 workers working on it for 18 months, they spent 4 million euros. And that 4 million euros is 15% of the original, of the current painted cost of Eiffel Tower. So in last 19 paintings of repainting of this monument, you have built it 3 times over. So that's the maintenance cost for you. So why I'm talking of iron and not stainless steel. The surprising part is the monument which was designed to last 20 years has lasted 130 years because of stainless steel. The 4 critical components there, the expansion joints, most of the rivets, the critical structural elements, and the safety netting is all stainless steel. It has been replaced over the last so many years to make it last 130 years. Otherwise, wrought iron would not have lasted so long. So here is the test that what stainless steel can do for you. Just at the other side of the perspective, when you see, which I mentioned earlier, the Cloud Gate, the famous sculpture in Chicago, done by Anish. When it was commissioned to do, it was part of a competition. They asked them, we want a structure which will last 1,000 years. And this material of choice was stainless steel. And in last 20 years, it got completed in 2005. In last 20 years, it has been cleaned only once. So here's the comparison for you. Where is stainless steel? So what we need today, we need more of Subodh Guptas, who's turning kitchen utensil into a work of art. His sculptures are made of utensils made of stainless steel, and they are repeatedly strong. So we need more Subodh Guptas to create this awareness. Thank you.
I must give this here that I couldn't have had a better explanation than the way you have just put it forward, and I think brilliantly done. It only shows your passion and interest and really into subjects like this. Great there. Coming to Dr. God, how can the government or industry policy drive the usage of stainless steel in India's building sector, and are subsidies or certifications a feasible tool that we can look at over here?
So first of all, we have national steel policy, but we don't have stainless steel policy. First thing the government should do growth of stainless steel, to enhance the usage of stainless steel, to make awareness, to take care of the cost part, that how to facilitate the construction things in terms of subsidizing, in terms of some incentives. So first thing is to have our stainless steel policy. Second, the government should encourage the use of more and more stainless, because nowadays ultimately the end user has to pay. Because we are paying, because we are building, we are giving the contracts, they are building, they are operating, and then they are transferred. So the impact would not be so much. So when the government mandates it, when government gives the option that you can use this or this, then ultimately the user will choose the cheaper, or they will compromise on that. So government, when this government constructions are there like this, where this highways, this coastal roads and everything, even many of the structure they can replace by this bridge buildings, and this railway bridges can be replaced by structures also. So government can do by implementing in this national stainless steel policy. If the policy is there, then we have the segment. This is the segment we can enhance the stainless steel. Because everyone knows about stainless steel, but they know only stainless steel by kitchenware, hollowware. So ultimately, in every part of life, stainless steel is important. So stainless steel policy should be there to make it viable, incentivize, subsidize, and to make it feasible to get some mothballs.
Mr. Bose, I would also like to hear from you that how is the National Building Code ecosystem with respect to structural applications, and if you think any kind of changes can be brought about on that front?
Actually, there are currently two codes in making, specifically to say. One is there is already draft preparation going on for stainless steel for structural applications, which is a material code that is being made. And second is an IS 800/2007 equivalent code being made in stainless steel. There are Euro codes equivalent available across. EN 1993 Part 1-1 deals with carbon steel, but 1-4 specifically deals with stainless steel. I think in a year or two we will be getting a similar code in India for structural applications and general practice equivalent to IS 800. Also, there is work going on these days for with respect to bridges specifically. I would also like to say bridges have the highest design life requirement. 120 years is the design life requirement for bridges. But hardly bridges survive for that duration. Average life of bridges, according to Indian management systems, says that it's somewhere around the 40 to 60 years. So that is where stainless steel comes in, and the Apex organizations have realized this, and there are the draft preparation going on for Indian Road Congress bridge application developments also. So NBC is currently under modifications, and I feel in all respects the modal front will be geared up maybe a year.
Thank you. Mr. Parmar, I would like to know from you as well if you feel anything needs to be changed in the contract or vendor ecosystem to enable developers to choose stainless steel without the cost or code hurdles.
I think as Mati has already mentioned, micropanels, codes are already existing, work is going on. The only thing is you need to understand the costing aspect, and more important, there are more challenges in procuring stainless steel. has not been touched upon from the manufacturer's aspect, because there are a handful of big tech manufacturers. And as Mr. Sharma was telling in the previous session, we have huge manufacturers in the MSME sector. So when we are talking about the composition of stainless steel, carbon, nickel and chrome, carbon is a content which is the most vital aspect, and it defines the grade of the steel. Now this varies from manufacturer to manufacturer. So when you are talking about A-grade manufacturers, they will have a standard setting, but again the cost is there. So when even the department or a developer goes for stainless steel, it's left to the contractor to procure. So when he is procuring, from where is if he is taking from MSME, so with all due respect to MSME, but the consistency is not there with respect to the manufacturing processes. So that needs to be there. The requirement also should mention what type of steel is required. So that gives, from the procurement perspective, what we have is an informed buying. So that takes care of how to be placed, and I think what Mr. Chetan also said, the lead time is required. So since everybody is not manufacturing, so from all these aspects of the procurement, I will look at from the lens of procurement that we need to work out a different sort of manufacturers, and this is very volatile with respect to the pricing. Since all the raw materials are linked to the commodity market, it keeps fluctuating. So even if we have an informed decision of procurement, how will it transfer or how it will transfer, that is more important. So that is the thing which needs to be inbuilt with respect to the cost. Whether the cost may be X, it may go to Y. And the another ecosystem which is affecting is the geopolitical. I'll tell you an example. In 2018, when China and US were the biggest suppliers for raw material, they both were at loggerheads, and that shot up the price in the market. So these are the things which are beyond the control. So for a procurement panel, ecosystem gap is there, but we need to plan with all these things. So looking ahead, all these factors are to be encountered and to be encouraged. That is the biggest challenge.
Do we see the need for greater workforce training or certification programs for stainless steel installation, welding or fabrication to reduce the wastage and rework on sites?
See, I'll tell you one thing. Again, the biggest drawback of stainless steel as you compare to the MS you can manufacture at site. So all skills and everything is available. As far as SS is concerned, you need to do it at home. So that is a limitation. You cannot do it at site. So skilling and all that will still not be able to encounter or will be able to take care of that aspect. This is one. And again, with respect to skilling is one part, that's fine. That will not solve all your problems. And again, there is a concept called as galvanic corrosion. So wherein steel we say it's 100% rust proof, everything is fine. But when you're doing a bolting, when you're doing a jointing, what sort of material you're using? If you're using zinc, it may steel, nothing will happen to steel, but the particular component which is being attached to that causes galvanic corrosion. So all those factors have to be taken into consideration.
Thank you. I think that brings me to the last leg of this discussion. I have a common question that I would like to hear from each of you. We have 5 minutes on us, and then we can keep it open for any questions if there are. But yeah, one common question, and that would also take us towards concluding this panel. So considering today's discussion, what is the one big move? It could be regulatory, it could be ecosystem based, it could be design led. What is the one big move that could significantly accelerate stainless steel usage in India's architecture and real estate sector? We can start from Mr. Bose.
I think adoption of two things should be immensely helpful. One is technically, one is not looking at anyone, looking at being the technically one. also the understanding of life cycle cost is actually inbuilt within us. There are certain people who buy an iPhone because they feel it gives life rather than buying 5 phones in a year. In 5 years, I rather buy. Similarly, what benefit do you get against what cost? The cost benefit analysis technically has to be undertaken, and if it is not only based on initial cost, I would feel stainless steel will come anywhere and everywhere.
Mr. Verma?
I think there's no one formula which fits for all. So you need to segregate with respect to what is the life you are expecting of the project and what are the benefits. Again, from the procurement aspect, it boils down to cost benefit analysis. So in that aspect, if you're looking at, yes, longevity, iconic structure which has to last for say 500 years, 1000 years, then it's a no-brainer. You need to go for that. Or else, if the structure can take up to 60, 70 years, I think reinforcement steel and other structures can take care of it. And other thing is, yes, the government has to move forward with respect to the policies, and codes are already there, but making it thing, and again the second part which I started my discussion is, manufacturers have to move towards the policy. They have to make it happen. We are all the other stakeholders. We are not the makers. They have to make it, and they have to make it happen. Then things will fall in place. Thank you.
I think most of the points have been covered in the earlier session and also by Mr. Parmar and
Yes.
Mr. Arun. But I would like to add it to the list that maybe architects like me at this age should have some course, refreshers course you can call it, or something that makes me aware about this material and know more about it so that I can put it into my practice and take it ahead as a long-lasting structure, well element.
I think that's a very valid point. It's like how in our day-to-day life we talk about generation gap. It's also about how you want to stay up to date with whatever new is coming into the sector. Yes, Mr.
I feel as a designer again, because steel is a material which is a little less understood by a common man, like especially in design industry also. So we fail to understand that steel is a material where you can have very precision kind of construction. It's a material which is we can have a very low gauge sheets on very thick structural strength. It is a material which can be played with its tactile qualities as well as the geometry. So there is again I think there is an endless possibility, and as he said, as designers we have explored it very less. So we, if we have to contribute to this stainless steel industry, I think there should be some kind of a reorientation program, some kind of workshop, some kind of competitions, where you can encourage designers to come forth and bring out the possibilities that are available for a creator to use this material. Because we will be only otherwise looking at a very grey steel looking structure with a strength and looking at the history of how iconic structures are built. But we will fail to use it as a versatile material of future. So I think we really need to experiment and reinvent this material.
Mr. Grant?
I think very valid points said by all the panelists. I would like to refer to what was being said in the earlier panel. They were saying they are creating awareness drives, they are going to ITIs to educate people and get builders and fitters more attuned to what can be done with stainless steel. I think that's a very important step. A similar step is required even in our design education, which is this segment. We have a lot of talent there who can experiment with material a lot, and familiarity and user awareness has to go there. There are workshops which they do on various other materials, a sculpting workshop. There should be, the steel should be usable materials they can experiment with. This awareness is missing. This is considered something alien which can only done in a factory which an end user can't do it themselves. This acceptance has to be brought, there will be a proper material. I think what you are doing here in this seminar is a very big step, but pocket it more to larger people and the acceptance will be there.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Gaur?
I think all the panelists they have briefed very well. I think we need to work on all fronts. From manufacturer side, we need to innovate. We need to think how to bring down the cost, how to make it viable. On government front, the government should see that adequate policies, adequate standards are in place so that quality of the material is not compromised. And user front, they need to choose wisely, diligently that where to put what. So they need to optimize their cost. They need not to compromise on the safety, on the quality of the construction. At the same time, to bring the cost in control. So on all fronts, and training is also the part of life. Every day we need training. So to make us better, to improvise, to reduce, to make ourselves efficient. So in this part also training also much more needed. Training on part of fabrication, training on part of installation. So certification can also be done that these are the certified fabricators, certified installation they can do. So on all front we need to do if we want to achieve this. So if we all work together in tandem, then this is
Thank you so much. I must say we've done a good job with the timeline. Yes, Mr. Verma, you want to add something?
I just want to reinforce what Madam said regarding training due to the gap. I'll just cite one example. I had encountered it. All these situations are so dynamic. What we talk today, 3 months later, 6 months later, things will change. And like today's necessity or today's luxury becomes tomorrow's necessity. I just cite one example which I had undergone one day. This was something in 2019 December. One of the elevator company had come to me and he said, I'm going to give you some fantastic product and enhance it. I said, what are you going to do? He gave so many jargons and all that. Finally he said, I'm going to give you some IoT. I said, okay, at what cost? So he was just looking at, enhancing the cost. I said, fine, no issue. But all those things should be a part of your deliverables. And that should make you stand out, not a separate price. But see the irony of the thing, this was December 2019. Come March 2020, we had lockdown. After that, each and every elevator company, in order to do maintenance, had to do it IoT by force. So what was pitching had become a necessity 4 months later. So that's what I think. So what we think today, we have to think 6 months and a vision of more than a year in that.
And I think we belong to an industry where evolution and transformation happens with the blink of an eye. So then 3 to 4 months is also a long period, when we look at it from that point of view. Okay, any questions from the audience? I think we could take maybe 1 or 2 questions at best. Yes, can we have the mic here, please?
Hello. Yeah, I'm Kiman Keswani from Raga Developers Pune. I would like to ask about authenticity of the material we buy. Maybe the traders and all, they manipulate things. So how do we check instantly? And another thing, the second question is, suppose one brand is costing a bit higher, and when we go into the market, we get lower cost also. So how do we prefer? As sir said, nickel, chrome and carbon percentage matters. So how do we take a decision on that? Key from whom we should buy? We have to be cost effective as well as we need quality for long term durability and all. That is the reason we are using it in railings and all. So these are my two questions. One is, how do we check the authenticity of the material instantly as a developer or a buyer? And the other thing is, from whom should we buy?
See, whom should you buy? It is only your choice. But stainless steel, when we say stainless steel, it has got so many grades. So what grade you want to buy?
SS304.
SS304. So SS304 is one standard chemistry. One standard chemistry. One is chemical composition and second is physical properties, mechanical properties. So only two things that will make you sure that you are buying from where you are buying, that is the material. But if you get it tested through spectroanalysis, you will get the chemistry. If you have doubt, you get it tested. So many NABL labs are there. So you cut one sample, you get its spectroanalysis done, you will get to know what is the chemical analysis, chemistry, composition of the material. And
This is after buying.
you can do this before buying also.
Okay.
Because whenever someone is supplying material to you, they are issuing you a certificate, TC. So the TC should match to your. You can get it analyzed at your end also. So authenticity can be checked. Whatever has been sent, you have found the same. That is the authenticity. If he has sent something different and in TC he has mentioned that I have supplied this and you are finding this and accepting this, that is the authenticity.
So spectral test is, I know that's a solution, but anything more instantly, you get a lot, so many lots you get. Once maybe I check it.
Now technology is available and guns are there.
Okay.
You just put it, you get the analysis.
But are they cost effective? Can we use them?
Now that depends how much volume you are doing. Because for say you are doing some quantity, so it would be difficult for me to say that it is cost effective or it will not be cost effective.
Can you tell me what will be the approximate cost of a gun?
See, the gun you can buy, there are so many agencies, they will come, they will test the material and they will go. You need not to buy. But even if you buy, tentatively it costs around 10 lakh.
Okay. So that's the solution. The other things are from whom should we buy?
There are many suppliers. Thermo Fisher is there, Titan is there, so many
So
suppliers.
everybody says my cost is high because of those chemical contents and all.
So we can discuss offline. So I can suggest so many suppliers you can buy. That everyone is standard.
I do not trust.
Actually, we have a procurement expert on the stage. Mr. Barwal, you should tell him that how would you make your purchase decision. I'm sure that was a...
I am not for or against what he said. There are so many players in the market. First and foremost, you should have an informed decision. What you want. As said, which grade you want. Then you should do your due diligence in this grade, what are the MPCs required and what are the things required. And when you appoint a contractor, you do a due diligence. Similarly, when you go for procurement, you need to do a due diligence of the supplier. Of course, you have to go through the reviews. You go for Google reviews for anything. Even if you're buying a small thing, you go for Google reviews. Similarly, you need to do a review on it. And what is the standing of that particular supplier in the market? And today the industry is so small and we are so much connected that you can get reviews from your own peers. In fact, I am on a procurement panel. I have been there for so many years. We are working all across developers. We can be competing from company level, but procurement level, we share each and every details. अगर मैं कल मारा तो तुम नहीं मारोगे. If in a particular subject, that is the motive, because that common thread is there among all the procurement people within the industry. Because that is again called as the informed decision. So if you are aware of something, people will definitely share.
I think you can take the rest of your discussion off stage,
Yeah,
but we
thank
have
you.
one more question in
Thank you so
front of
much, all
Yes.
the
We'll take this as the last question and we'll close the panel. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Regarding the supply chain, about the quality or the specific batch number of the product you receive,
possible to supply some QR code to follow the supply chain that is being supplied to a particular channel, and that will help a particular person receiving the material to contact directly to manufacturer and confirm that it's the same nature or same material, or is a surplus material or counterfeit material. I think it is possible to put up some QR code on every bar or something like that, or every page.
हाँ दिख रहा हूँ, कौन बोलेगा?
See, yes, it is possible, and it is in practice also. Because when we keep inventory, for us also it is difficult to identify. So we have QR code system. So when you buy material, so if you are buying from traders, they can remove that tag also. The only way, if you want to issue, then you have to get it tested. But I don't think such cases are. I don't think these may be assumptions. These are maybe assumptions, but I don't think these can be.
I think it's just like Sir said, it's about making an informed choice. From where are you going to buy, whom are you going to buy, and what are you going to buy. I think with that, most of our problems are solved. That's how we make the buying decision in our life actually. Anything else? Thanks. There are print test certificates, there are batch numbers and heat numbers printed over the plates, which can be cross-referenced to your MTCs, and also small samples can be taken out and tested at any time. This can be done under your supplier place itself, or you can take it to your place and also get it tested. And also buy from people of repute.
Yes, thank you, thank you. I think with that we bring this panel to a close. I would like to thank my panelists for being patient to all my questions. I think going by my profession, I love asking questions. If I had more time, I think it would have been a never-ending discussion for us. But thank you so much for the time and the valuable inputs. With that.